Welcome to the UGC EPG Pathshala lecture series in computer science. In this series of lectures, we have been addressing on the subject software engineering. After coming across the descriptions of personal software process and team software process, it is our responsibility to look at the change process, rather the changes expected from the management also. So, we understand what a software change management would really imply through this particular lecture. So, some of the learning objectives that we have prepared for this particular software change management include: we need to have a bird's eye view of the entire IT infrastructure, so that what needs to be changed technically and what needs to be changed in the overall perspective. Not only that, we may have to look for a response, management and track request for IT changes using some standardized procedures. We also have to access the cost of proposed changes before they are incurred, and we may look for fewer changes that are aborted or that it has been failed. And finally, we tend to study on the increased productivity of key personnel to decreased and urgent changes. To begin with, every person has a basic question for themselves, or a organization who spends millions of dollars for working on a particular software and defining a new process. If at all it is completely going to change, how are we going to work? Who are the persons who are responsible for the work, and what is their role in order for the change process? So, to estimate on this will be the success of company. Not only on the company, it depends on every person and it depends on the team also. So, that was the reason why we have studied PSP and TSP in the beginning, and we are going for software change management. So, the way in which we undergo on a process of change management at the individual level and relating with the co-workers is what we are trying to concentrate on. One of the famous thoughtable quotes that we could take it out from a Nestle's executive interview in the year 2002, where he has deliberately said, no major software implementation is really about software alone. It is completely on the change management. When you move to SAP, that is the new trend like ABAP, SAP, or the ABAP is one of the product that we tend to use of ERP package. You are changing the way people work, you are challenging the principles, their beliefs and the way they have gone or they have done things for many years. So, because of change management, it is very much difficult for an individual to adopt, a team to adopt, and for at times management also to adopt. So, what really is a change management? If you want us to define change management, a change management is supposed to be a planned approach for integrating change, which includes formal processes for assessing the impact of the change on both the people it affects and the way in which they do their jobs. In terms of the application of techniques to gain acceptance and understanding of change, there need to be a clear changing behavior to take advantage of the new functionality that we provide. So, because of change management, there will be an interplay among various forces that are involved in growing something new. So, we call this change either at the surface level change or a deep change, which comes purely because of the real growth, that may be through learning or unlearning. So, 70% of all change initiatives fail due to failure to address human component of change. See, software can be easily modified if at all there seems to have a proper documentation and the procedures associated with it, but then because of human component change, more than 70% of the projects generally fail. So, if you look at the implementation on a large scale of business transformation initiatives like SAP, by virtue of which the nature of the result is significant enough and it has to undergo a fundamental change where they need to have how people do their job changes. They estimate what the job work content may change, what sort of people and who will work with and report to may or also able to change. The tools of the job and how people interface with them might change. So, it is the 4 changes that makes a clear impact of change management, which talks about how people do their job or the process in which they establish the completion of a job, or what do they do for a job and work content, and who work and report for the change, and finally on the tools for the job that has been used. Not only that, in terms of implementing the initiative requires additional unfamiliar work which may also be an unfamiliar location. So, every person has to be provided with their new skills, behaviors, so which also at times might change. And looking for the assignment of an employee, if at all an employee has quit from a particular opportunity, then assigning a role for a particular employee might also to be considered, and the controls on the process and information might also change, or how these informations are provided, accessed and shared might also change. So, over the perspectives of 4 in the previous things and 5 again here, so totally 9 different opportunities or possibilities that we can come across during the change management process. So, with this change management process helps determine how people will react to these changes, and therefore, the ultimate success of the transformation in terms of depends in terms of vision, knowledge and responsibility. So, change management has to undergo various phases, but then how people tend to adopt those changes and the success of the transformation lies keenly on 3 important values like vision, knowledge and responsibility. The software change management can also be called as software configuration management, where it will be like an umbrella activity that is applied throughout the software process. So, at every stages we may have to provide appropriate means by which the change management can be established. So, the primary goal of this change management is to maximize on the productivity by minimizing the mistakes caused by confusion when coordinating with the software development. So, we have been addressing this point right from the beginning of this lecture, where any software project that we are about to establish, we are looking for a quality product which is less in cost and which has less in terms of defects. So, if at all we are about to mention all these points again and again, even at the stage of personal software process, we are ensuring that every person takes in the responsibility of developing the project, and the responsibility not only lies with the person, the responsibility also lies with the team. Now, after having done the change management process, the responsibility again has to look forward on minimizing the mistakes, thereby increasing on the productivity. So, this software change management initially tends to identify, organize and control modifications to the software that are being built by a software development team. So, SCM activates a formulated identify change, control change, and not only that, it tries to ensure the change being properly implemented and reports the change to others, so that they might create an interest towards this change management. If you look at the various views of software change management from the roles perspective, individual roles, project manager will look for an audit mechanism where again changes will be notified. Software change management manager will look for the controlling, tracking and policy making mechanism, And when you look for a software engineer who can be a development engineer at the beginning stages, can look for a change, he is the person who is responsible to implement or build an access control mechanism, and from the customer's point of view he has to change the mindset. So, he will ensure that a changed process or a revised process will adequately have a quality assurance and product identification mechanism. So, in coordination with the change management, if at all we are to look at the software configuration also, the output of all the software process makes up the software configuration, starting from the computer program which has both the source code file and the executable files, moving to the work products that they describe on the computer programs, where we manage on the technical practitioners and users documents, and not only that, we also handle the data within the programmers themselves are the external files. So, the major danger to the software configuration will be a change management process. If at all I am to configure, I will look for the changes that it may has to establish. Different advanced versions will come up, but then we may have to ensure that the basic functionalities that we tend to provide on the software remains the same. Say for example, if GST has increased from replacing the VAT and service tax by CST and CGST and SGST, the software has to inculcate or it has to inbreed this change also into the software. It should not say that this cannot be configured. So, one of the first law of system engineering which says no matter where you are in the system life cycle, the system will change and the desire to change will persist throughout the life cycle. So, you can never say that the system cannot be modified having deliberately given this for the user. The system should able to incorporate all the changes right from the beginning of the life cycle. So, if you look for the origin of software change, errors detected in the software are needed to be corrected. New business or market conditions dictate changes in product requirements or business rules. Not only that, if at all we try to add new customers, they demand modifications of data produced by information systems. Not only that, the functionality that are delivered by the products or the services delivered by a computer based system. In terms of entire restructuring or reorganization of business growth or even downsizing of the company causes changes in the project priorities or the software engineering team structure. So, we may have to look at the budgetary or scheduling constraints also, which can cause a redefinition of system or a product. Here we look at the various elements that are associated with the configuration management system, starting with configuration elements, which are nothing but a set of tools that are coupled with a file management system, may it be a database. So, any file management system which is getting coupled with set of tools and tries to enable access and management of each software configuration item. So, that becomes the configuration element. Not only that, the change can also happen during the process stage also. So, processing elements can also be a change management procedure. So, where we have a collection of procedures and tasks that define an effective approach to change management for all the participants. This need not happen at the configuration and the process level, this can happen at the build level also, implementation level also, where there will be a set of tools that can automate the construction of software by ensuring that the proper set of valid components is being assembled. Change management does not impact on the building stage. So, technically speaking, so far we have been looking at the management practices from the implementation level, from the configuration level and from the process level. But then what happens in case if this has to be done at the human level also. So, human elements talks about set of tools and process features used by a software team to implement effective software change management. So, the baseline that is required for software change management creates a concept that helps practitioners to control change, without seriously impeding justifiable change. So, if you look for the IEEE definition of software change management, a specification or a product that has been formally reviewed and agreed upon and thereafter serves as a basis for further development. So, this is specifically for software configuration management, where we specify that has been formally reviewed and agreed upon and that thereafter serves as the basis for future development, further development, and that can be changed only through formal change control procedures. So, anything which has been audited, agreed upon that it can go on a stage of change, then only it could be formally changed on a control procedure basis. So, this happens as a milestone in the development of software and are primarily marked for the delivery of one or more computer software configuration items that helps us improve, or it has also been approved as a consequence of formal technical review. So, anything that has been reviewed formally for it to get approved, only after that this can undergo a process of change management. So, if you look for the baseline process of CSCI, which is computer software configuration item, there will be a set of guidelines which is associated with this baseline process, wherein we collect a series of software engineering tasks which are produced at CSCI. The CSCI is completely reviewed and possibly approved. The approved CSCI is given a new version number. As a configuration improvement, we will provide it as a new version number. The version number, if you wanted to recall from our previous discussion, PSP had level 0, the improved version has been mentioned as PSP level 0.1. Likewise, PSP level 1, improved version to be as PSP level 1.1. Likewise, we will provide a new version number and placed in the project database. So, that will be updated to the software repository, mentioning this is an improvised version of what has been existing already. So, a copy of CSCI is taken from the project database and then it will be clearly examined and modified by a software engineer. So, the baseline of the modified CSCI goes back to the step of 2, where it will be reviewed and possibly been approved. So, every higher configuration then after, if it has gone through a formal review committee, once after their approval will fix up to the newer version. So, this slide gives us an intention of what does this software configuration management repository have. In turns, if at all we wanted to have an automated software configuration management repository, the various functions that this repository has to undergo are: it has to maintain data integrity, it has to share information, it has to integrate various tools that has been changed. Not only that, we may have to change the data, methodology enforced, and look for standardization of the document. So, after having done this various functionality on the SCM repository, the impact will be starting from requirements tracing, configuration management, audit trials, change management, dependency tracking and versioning. So, for doing all these tasks to the outside world, this SCM has to do a common functionality of data integrity, information sharing, tool integration, data integration, methodology enforcement and document standardization. Now, we will look at the individual software configuration management repository functions in detail. When we wanted to ensure the integrity of data, that is, we check for the validity of the data, we validate all the entries that are associated with the software, thereby it ensures consistency and will have a cascading effect on the various modifications that we are tending to do. If you look for the information sharing, this shares information among developers and tools. Not only that, it manages and controls multi-user access. And further, this looks for tool integration also, thereby establishing a data model that can be accessed by many software engineering tools, controls the access to the data. And the next functionality which is supported with the SCM repository is the data integration, where this allows the software configuration management task to be performed one or more CSCIs. And when we ensure or enforce on the methodology to be acted upon, which defines on the entity relationship model for the repository, that implies a specific process model for software engineering. And finally, this software change management has to standardize the document level, where we clearly define the objects that we have created at this version to the repository to guarantee a standard approach for creation of software engineering documents. So, some of the primary objectives with which we wanted to start out with the software configuration process are to identify all items that are collectively defining the software configuration, to manage changes to one or more of these items. It can also facilitate construction of different versions of the application, and further this has to ensure the software quality is maintained as the configuration evolves over time. Over a period in time, we may have to look for how much this software quality is being maintained, if at all there has been some change process involved. So, this tries to provide information on changes that has occurred. So, software configuration management should have to answer almost all of these questions, starting from how to what and who has to take up this responsibility. For example, this has started with a questionnaire of how does a software team identify the various discrete elements of software configuration, whether it should be on the integration part, whether it should be on the standardization of document part, where this should be identified initially. And somewhere in between, if we see how can we ensure that the changes have been made properly. So, how do we ensure on the standards that we have followed, or if at all we have made some changes, how do we ensure that these changes have been done properly to this software or not. So, these are the questionnaires which are put forth for every person who is acting as a manager at the software change level, who will understand and clearly justify on the change management process. If you look for the tasks associated with the software change configuration management, it is a concentric layer starting from the internal to the outermost ring. So, starting with CSCI, which is configuration items, it gets on to identification, change control, version control and configuration auditing, and finally a status report will be generated. So, this flows outward through these layers during their entire phase of life cycle. So, status report is what we are absolutely about to get as a document which will be standardized for future use. So, every independent task that are associated with this SCM, we will see it in detail, where if we start out with the identification task, identification separates names with every CSCI and then organizes it in the SCM repository using object oriented approach. So, it imbibes polymorphism, inheritance approaches and also tries to encapsulate some values. Not only that, the objects start out as basic objects and then it will be grouped together as aggregate objects, and every object that is associated has a distinct set of features that identifies it. Say for example, a name that was found to be unambiguous to all the other objects, a description that can contain CSCI type will be a project identifier, and there will be change or version information, and this can also list out some of the resources needed by the object, and finally it can create object realization. Likewise, after having gone through the CSCI level, it has gone for the identification level, then we can change the task looking for the change control as a procedural activity, but then this change task needs to ensure quality and consistency as the changes are made for the configuration object. And this change task also ensures that the engineering change order is being issued for every approved change request, and we try fixing a baseline to obtain SCM repository where we have an access control that governs software engineers to have the authority to access and modify a particular configuration object, or we can have even a synchronization control. And at the next stage we can also improvise it to a version control task, where out of a version control we have a set of procedures and tools for managing the creation and use of multiple occurrences of objects in the SCM repository. And this repository also tries to maintain a change set, which are basically to serve a collection of changes that has been made to the baseline configuration. Not only that, this can create a specific version of a software, and we also need to mention what version of the software has been dictated, and this captures all changes to all files in the configuration along with the reason for changes and details of who made the changes and when he has made the changes. So, the timestamp along with the changes will be associated, so that for future improvement on the software we may refer to who has done the job and when he has taken up this responsibility. And it will be submitted for auditing at the next level, where it is the responsibility of the configuration quality assurance team to audit on the configuration, which helps to ensure that the quality is being maintained as the changes are made. So, the responsibility of a quality assurance group is to formally do a technical review and complement on the configuration, so that any changes that has been made has also been looked at. So, it requires a formal approval at that stage. So, a software quality assurance group, after having audited, will answer to the following questions like: has a change specified in the engineer change order has been made, and have any additional modifications that have been incorporated? Has there been any formal technical review been conducted to assess technical correctness? Likewise, a list of questionnaire given by the quality assurance team will also be answered. This will be correctly highlighted and will be documented for future use. So, a configuration audit team will ensure that the correct CSCI has been incorporated into the specific building team. Not only that, all the documentation should be up to date and consistent with the version that has been built. And finally, this has been given to a status reporting task, where it will be counted for assessing on the status. It will look for the sources of entries for configuration status reporting, and every time the CSCI is assigned new or updated information, and every time it will check for the change of approval by a configuration committee and engineer control committee will be issued, only then this will be considered. And finally, each time a configuration audit will be conducted and a report of which will be documented properly. So, as a summary, we were able to adopt to changes at all levels, not only at the management level, even at the IT infrastructure service levels. This change is purely been inevitable, and this change will happen daily as a part of business in the IT industry. And only because of change of controlling the risk and volume of change is by having a formal change management process. And this change management needs to be effective in order to benefit the organization, and this will highlight some of the key points that will help you accomplish the goals associated with the configuration management and the change management. Thank you.